Hello, this is Thomas, K4SWL. If you're new here, I like to do real-time, real-life amateur radio field activation videos. And today I'm at William B. Umstead State Park here between Raleigh and Durham, North Carolina. I've got probably 45 minutes on the air. That's about all. I thought I was going to have a couple of hours, and I was looking forward to that today, but then I volunteered to help someone out a little bit later on today with something they need, so yeah, kind of cut my time short. But that's okay. I'm hoping to get a nice activation in this morning. It's a really pretty morning. Evidently we had rain overnight. I didn't even know that. So it's a little wet, but this is an ideal spot to set up for a park activation. And the park's pretty busy this morning. You can't tell right now, but there are just people all around. It's just a large park, so it can swallow up a bunch of people. And as I said last time during the activation, when I was here, which was not that long ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, we're like in one of the flight paths for RDU Airport, which is very close by, so you hear a lot of jets in the background and stuff. But I picked up this particular table today because you can't tell this probably on the video, but when I look out here, I see really big open spaces between the trees, and I've got an antenna, an LEFS 4010 from Chameleon, and I think this will be an ideal place to set this up. At least I hope so. This is a sloping antenna, and I want to slope it down from here somewhere. I'm just trying to find the right branch, and there are several good candidates here. This does not need to be a very high antenna necessarily. It doesn't have to slope from like a super high position. It should be resonant, I think 40 through 10 meters. Now, there's a little bit of a story behind this. This particular model may differ from the production model, and that's because Chameleon sent this to me right before I left to go to Canada in the summer of this year. And it is a prototype of the antenna. I suspect the working model is very, very similar, though, to this one. And for some reason, I keep forgetting to take it to the field, and so it has not gone out yet for an activation, unfortunately, but we're going to fix that right here, right now, today. It deploys a little differently than some of my other antennas, so we may take a little bit of time here to kind of figure it out. It's got a radiating element plus a counterpoise, so I don't really need a very long cable to connect to my radio. In fact, it's designed to kind of work with really small portable radios like the KH1 or whatever you have. Today we're using the Elecraft K1. But yeah, so what I'll try to do is string up my line, push it through this way, attach the radiator onto it, pull it through, and keep this pretty close to where I'm operating, because I'm probably going to attach this to my bag here to hold it down. It's actually got a little strain relief. It's got this big coil here, this trap, basically, that I've got to mind a little bit, but should be fun. So let's go ahead and get set up without talking too much more about this. And I need to find a spot to shoot this in the tree. Now, where do I want? I'm tempted. I see a place right there that may be really good. And it's out of the way of the path. There's nobody that's going to walk through here. And I do think I see like a clearing there where I could probably shoot the line over. Then again, there's a spot right here too, and those branches are much higher. I could maybe try for that. It'll probably still not be, like it'll probably still go over a little bit, which is fine. I think I'll try this. And if I can't get it, I'll go for something else. But let's set up the camera here so you can see it. I did not bring my microphone with me. I think I've mentioned in several other videos, I'm just not pleased with my wireless mics. How they balance out the audio and stuff. So until I find a better solution, and I will find a better solution, I'm just going to do it this way. So let's see here. What do I need? I'll be facing the sun, which is not going to be optimal, but I'm going to try to shoot a line like one of those trees over there. So you can't tell, but that was actually a really difficult one to hit. But I after 3 tries, I did land the ideal branch both of the other times. And you probably couldn't see this in the video. It probably came within a foot of hitting the branch below, which was the one I was actually aiming for at first. But when I repositioned myself just a little bit, the sun was in my eyes a bit more, but I saw that I could like aim for the middle of that tree. And that's what you really want to do when you're doing this. This isn't precise stuff. You just want to try to get your throw line into an area that's close to where you want to be. So now let's unravel this antenna. Now I've got to admit, first time I've ever done this in the field, period. And chameleon antennas are sometimes packaged differently than others. So let's see here. Okay, so that is this end of the antenna. So this is going to stay here. What I'll do is attach this. This is what it's designed for. It's designed to attach to your bag or something to kind of give a little strain relief. And I'm just going to do this like that. That'll hold on to it just fine. Like that. And then I unravel it. Now I have to unravel it in a way. So next time I package it up, I'll do it a different way here. Here is the, there we go. So there's the bit with the trap. So let's pull this off. Now again, could look a little different than this in the production model. I have not checked to see. And my counterpoise wants to come off. Let me try to hold that down with my hand so I don't have 2 wires at the same time. It does have to negotiate this. I think what I may do is flip and put the radiator on this side and the counterpoise on this side, because the counterpoise is much shorter because it has to mitigate this strap that's on here when I'm doing it, which kind of it doesn't get tangled, but chameleon antennas tend to work really well. They tend to do what they say they're going to do. They tend to be super versatile and built with the highest quality materials. They're also pretty pricey. They're at the higher end of the antenna market. There we go. So that's the end piece right here is the counterpoise, which also has it's interesting. It's also got a little clip on the end of it. Okay. So what I need to do is attach this to the end of the line here and then start to pull it up. I'm super pleased with how that turned out with this, actually. So that you can kind of see how it all works, I'm going to put you back here. Hypothetically, if I get this to pull up properly, you'll just see that end of the antenna kind of start to go. Well, what I'll do is put you a little closer here so you can see it. But this end of the antenna should start to go up, and my bag will stop it from going any further than it needs to go. I am super pleased with this deployment. Super pleased with how that worked out. What luck I had there. So, yeah, this is about what we want here. Let's see. Where to set up? It's wet here. I'm probably going to pull out the pull out my Elecraft chair and just at least use the one part to sit on, just so I'm not getting super wet here. Yes, okay, so actually most of my radio stuff is in this bag. Let's pull it out first. Sorry for all the camera manipulation right now, but so I can let go. I can undo this and it'll hang on anyway. There we go. Got my QRT Life bottle. Buddy gave that to me this year at Hamvention, which was really nice. Is this the... Oh, this is my recorder. I won't need it this time. And here's my K2. I just put it in this little pack like this. K2. My K1. I've been using my K2 so much I'm saying K2. This is my K1. K2's little brother. Love this radio. Okay, and I'm probably going to just use the... oh, another new thing I have. This is the new single lever paddle by N0SA that's made by CW Morse. And it looks like the SP4, and I'm going to be using this in the field today. I haven't adjusted it or anything, so we'll see how this works. That's all I need from in there. That's the battery. Okay, so first things first, let's grab... So I'm going to grab the small BNC to BNC cable that I have in here with my AX3, because I don't need much of a cable this time. And I've got a pretty long cable assembly otherwise. Come on out of there. I know you want to catch on things. There we go. So I'm going to borrow it from this, but I'm going to keep it out so I don't forget it. And I'll plug this into the back of the radio, and then plug this end over here on the antenna. You can see right there. Oh, I have to deploy the counterpoise yet. Let's do that. So the counterpoise is separate, and this is the end of the counterpoise. Now I could raise this, and I may do it. I'll see. I'm not too worried about it being raised or not, or elevated, but I can elevate it for sure. So all I'll do is clip on here to, let's see, I'll clip on here to the shield of the BNC. Actually, I could do it this way probably too. Like that. That works. Okay. And for setting this up, I'm probably just going to do something really simple here. Take like a stick and basically set it up like this. You can see. This is hard to manage the camera with this. Here we go. It doesn't have to actually stick up much, so as long as it's hanging there, it's fine. We'll see how this guy works. I'm just going to take the seat part out of my Elecraft chair. This will be what I sit on, just to keep my bum dry during all this. Let's go ahead and connect up the new key. They sent this to me free for evaluation. They are a sponsor or an affiliate of QRT as well. What else do I need? Logs. I need logs. got those here. This should be about it. I need to get this activation going here. Okay, let's see. Got my battery. Boy, you know what? Did I bring my adapter for... I have to find... You know what I'm going to have to do? I'm going to have to steal a different battery for this. I don't think I brought the right connector, or did I? I keep forgetting that I don't have power poles in the back of my K1. I've got a solution for it, so this is not going to be an issue. But let me grab it. What I can do is just pull the KXBT2 battery out of my KX2, and that's all I need. Isn't it funny though? I'm having to borrow from everything today, and I have a rule. You don't borrow from one kit to feed another, but I leave all these things out so I don't forget. And I put them all back the way they're supposed to go. What am I doing? I did all of this and I completely forgot. This does have the right connector on it. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Thomas, you did not get enough sleep last night. I really didn't. I did not get all the sleep last night. I was up kind of late. Let's see. So let's put this back in the KX2. Give it its little battery back. I think I picked out the sunniest spot, which I'm not too crazy about, to be honest. This is the tricky bit. Let's get you in there. Get these cables all nice and fit in there so nothing is pinching. And put this down and we are back in business. Okay. Now I've already announced my activation. So I just need to remember the park number, and I think I may have it in here. Let's see. Umstead. It is 2755. Only I will know what that means. Okay, let's see. And we are the 8th of November, 2025. And this is the K1 CHALEFS 4010, I think is the name of it. We'll probably start on 40 meters. And I need to double check, and we are on the 14th hour right now. Need to check and see if my antenna tuner is turned on or off. By the way, I should mention, I may struggle using this because I've gone from using a bug with a single lever paddle. I've been doing a lot of that lately. And this is actually using, you know, a keyer and a single lever. So I may miskey a bit as I'm learning this. Ooh, that may be the ATU right there. Is that the ATU? Okay. Side tone level. ATU. There we go. Now let's change the band. Oh, that is on 40 meters. That's somebody running on 7030, but I don't hear anybody on 7062. Okay, now how do I do that? That it tells me what the power is 2. Did I do something to change? There we go. Oh, I see what I'm doing. I see what I'm doing. Okay. Okay, well, I'm thinking that... Pretty sure that it's okay. They're a whole kilohertz away, so we're hearing them because I got the filter wide open. Okay, can you see anything here with all of this sun? Okay, I'm gonna do it this way. Maybe you can see a little bit better. I don't know. Let's see here. I'm going to take a photo while I'm thinking about it. I think this is going to be a good activation. Yeah, hang on just 1 second. I gotta tell them to wait just 1 second, I'll answer you. I can't do Morse code and talk at the same time. Go ahead. But no, I totally am. There we go. I let them know I'm waiting. Yeah, I'm talking. This is via Morse code.
Yeah. How is this happening? This is so cool.
Yeah. So this is a little transceiver, a ham radio transceiver. I'm an amateur radio operator.
Got it.
And the program I'm doing today is called Parks on the Air.
Okay.
And amateur radio operators go out into the field to state parks, national parks, a lot of public lands, and we set up an antenna. So I've got an antenna right here that you can see is going up in this tree.
Yeah.
And connected to my radio. This radio is putting out about 5 watts of output power, so like way less than most light bulbs use.
Yeah.
And then I just hop on and I do Morse code, and I'm an activator, meaning I'm activating this park, and there are people who are hunting me at home or in other parks, and they try to make contact with me. It's a little bit like not a contest, but more like a field activity. And that's just telling them ASAS, which means wait just a moment. That's all.
So wait, they're trying to find where you are?
Yes, they are.
And so do you just tell them where you are? Or do they
There's
like
there's a website they can go to where it shows what frequency I'm on and where I am. And
yeah, you got a job to do.
No, that's okay. I got all the time in the world for this. But you can hang around here if you want to and just listen to how it works.
Yeah, if you want.
No, that'd be great. I'm also doing a video, by the way. I do a YouTube video series that basically shows, it gives people a chance to practice their Morse code and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah. And so,
okay.
now you'll hear people. Okay, I heard MD and all that. I gotta wait for them to stop. That's called a pile up.
Yeah.
Okay. Whoops. Okay, wait, I got another. Okay. So I said N4JRA, and he's saying Roger, Roger. And he's saying you are, and he's giving my signal report 559, which means soft, but he can hear me fine. And he's in North Carolina. It's NC dot it, dot it, dot it. So I'm saying Roger, Roger. Thank you. Okay, I heard AD4 that time. Okay, wait. So I give him a strong signal report. AD4J. He's in Georgia. Thank you. Georgia. That's 7-2. And then my call sign. And I go dit dit. I think I heard 7J that time. Let's see. See, I'm on the 40 meter band, which is mostly regional stuff.
Got it.
I thought I heard 7J. Okay, wait, you know what? I'll get him. Maybe that's what I heard. That's a W4JM. South Carolina. Dit dit. I think I heard N9. This is a lot of people calling me back, so it's hard to hear like individuals now.
Yeah.
So I sent N9 question mark. Okay, N8JY. The goal is to have 10 people in the logs for this park to be validated from this activation. And so I've got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right now. He's in Michigan.
Oh my gosh, all the way out in Michigan.
Oh, this is nothing. If I went on the higher bands, I'd get like people in Europe and stuff.
Really?
No. Is that who I heard? Okay, W8LUT. Well. Okay, he came back. So he's in the 8. He's got an 8 in his call sign. It's likely he's in Ohio or Michigan or West Virginia. Ohio. Oh, that's who I heard before. They couldn't hear me because somebody else was transmitting, and I'm actually at very low power. Some of these people at home may. Okay, yeah, that was Ohio.
Right.
Okay, I heard an X4, so I'm going to go for that. It's probably KX4 or something. Okay, wait. Oh, N1XV. So I'm sending him a signal report, 579, 579. And they're saying, thank you, Thomas. They know my name. New Jersey.
Wow.
Thank you, New Jersey. DE. I'm going a little slower for them. I'll try to match their speed.
Yeah.
Virginia. That's 7 2s, which means kind of like, thank you. Do you know anything about radio, or have you ever been interested in it?
So I tried to learn Morse code. I'm like, I have a couple of letters and things in the head, but
Really?
I do better seeing things in person. So I was like really interested because I've been trying to learn some. So
I'm happy to help you. Okay, I think I heard.
yeah, that one's really weak, right?
Yeah. Oh, that's who it was. This is my buddy Eric.
No way.
I'll tell you a funny story.
Mm-hmm.
This guy is the first person I ever saw sending Morse code.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
So you're here today. This means you're going to be an amateur radio operator one day. There's no reason I would be picking up Eric like this otherwise. There are no circumstances. He's Ohio. Okay, her KK4. Okay, KK4DF. So I put the time down here that I'm working them in UTC. Some people put the signal reports, what I send and what they send back. I don't usually do that for this particular program. This is also North Carolinian. They're very strong. North Carolina is actually difficult to work because usually most of the bands skip over North Carolina. It's Virginia. I'll have to do this again. That means I made a mistake. They're saying RR, Roger, Roger. Tom. 599, which is a good signal report. South Carolina again. Which is not a surprise based on his call sign. Did I get that right? It's probably not right. WY1U. So I'll have to repeat his call sign correctly when I come back to Connecticut. NG4S. They're in South Carolina. I know them. That's Tommy. Is his name? My name's Thomas, by the way.
Hey, Brandon.
Nice to meet you,
Very
Brandon.
nice to meet you as well.
Okay, wait.
Yeah, do it.
So I give them a little bit weaker signal report. Indiana. I'm probably going to move up a band so you can hear what that sounds like and who we can work on 20 meters maybe. I'm going to move up. Some people will be like, why is he moving up? There's still people here working, but we amateur radio operators tend to want to demonstrate things when we get a chance to do it. So, hello everybody, this is Future Thomas here. Just a really quick note, this video is a little different than normal. It's not uncommon for me to be approached by people in the field, especially in a park or something like this, where I'm kind of conspicuous, and they ask me about amateur radio. And you've probably heard me talk to people in the past about amateur radio. When Brandon approached me, I could see a sincere interest in him and what I was doing. And the fact that he sat down with me and hung out during this activation for the rest of my activation and then beyond, even after I stopped the video, we had a really long conversation. He was kind enough to give me permission to include all of this in the video. Normally, I don't include this sort of thing because I don't even seek permission from someone, but I just thought it would be great, and he was cool with it because this is how sometimes people get started in amateur radio. They discover someone in the field doing something like this, and when they show a real interest in what you're doing and a fascination with the mode, the equipment, the whole activity, you should take your time to speak with someone because the activation kind of comes secondary to this. And so I decided to keep this in there because Brandon gave me permission to do this. So Brandon, thank you so much if you happen to be watching this video, and you're going to see us talk quite a bit about amateur radio. I do hop back into the activation here in just a little bit and spend a little time on 20 meters. And yes, I said at the beginning of the video I was only going to be there for 45 minutes. Yes, I doubled that time doing this, but I felt it was really important to do so, and I was able to rearrange the rest of my day. So I'll get back to the video now. Thank you. So like on this, I was working, this is the 40 meter band, which means that, how much do you know about like radio wave propagation and stuff?
Very little.
Okay.
But you tell me what you
sure
need, because I want you to still do what you need to do.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
So basically, unlike a lot of the devices you use in the world, like your phone and Wi-Fi routers and things like that, they work on line of sight propagation, which means there's a reason why, like when you drive to the mountains or something, you may lose your signal on your cell phone when you go around a mountain or something, right? Or when you get too far away from your router signal dies and you can't pick it up. Yeah. Those are using very high or ultra high frequencies. So they're very, very high frequencies, really, really small bandwidth, or meter width. And so the HF bands, which are called high frequency, not very high or ultra high, they have a much longer wavelength. So the one I'm on right now, or I started on, is 40 meters, which means that the wavelength that this antenna is putting out right here is 40 meters, like tall or wide or whatever you want to call it. And those frequencies, what they tend to do is they bounce off regions of the ionosphere. Okay. And so when I was like hitting people in Indiana, Connecticut, in the Northeast, that was probably going off of one of the levels of the ionosphere that's energized right now and coming back down to Earth. Yeah. But 40 meters, it tends to be further in the day, travels less of a distance. Yeah. At night, when the E layer is the one that it bounces off of, you can actually get really long distance communications on 40 meters. So at nighttime, 40 meters can work distance stations. During the day, it tends to be smaller regional, more local stations. And
why is that? The sun?
Yeah, it just has to do with the ionosphere being energized by the sun, or basically. Yeah. That's a really short way to say it. Sure. So the 20 meter band that I'm on right now is like half the wavelength of 40. Yeah. And starting around now, it bounces off a higher layer of the ionosphere. So when it leaves Earth, instead of it going straight in a line, it goes up, it hits, and it comes back down somewhere. I'll probably still work regional people. I probably will no longer work like North Carolina, Virginia, South Carolina, Tennessee. I could, because sometimes propagation's not perfect that way. Like you'll still maybe work a few of those people, but you'll hear way less of them, and you'll hear more probably people in the Northeast, possibly out to like Arkansas, that area, possibly across the Atlantic Ocean. This time of day is not the best time for that right now necessarily on 20 meters, but we'll see who we can hear with this. And if I listen right now, just tune around, I can hear other stations out there. Those are probably other park stations because it's a weekend and people like to go out to their parks on weekends, or summits. I do another program called Summits on the Air because I actually live near Asheville and I'm just down here visiting my daughter at State.
Yeah.
And so you go to a summit and you take a radio, which is usually much smaller even than this radio.
Sure.
Like, here's another radio I have that is, you know, a transceiver, and it's made by the same company. Yeah. But it's this size, and it has the battery and everything in it, and I can literally just kind of hook 2 wires up to this and go to town. Huh. And in fact, the Morse code paddles, this is one I'm testing today. I've never used this one before today. This is a brand new one I'm checking out.
Well, so it's dits and das.
So like when you, like, yes, like, so when I send this side, those are all dashes.
Yeah.
Those are all dots.
Huh.
Right. And I can change the speed of that or whatever I want to do, but it's doing it automatically through an electronic keyer.
Wow. As
opposed to like tapping each one out. Now, most paddles look more like this. And oops, I dropped one of the little things in here. But this attaches to the front of this radio, which is kind of unique. Not a lot of keys do this, but it's one that the manufacturers make so that you can just attach it here.
Yeah.
And so this is dits, that's dashes. Huh. And so most of them are 2 paddles, not one. This is, well, it's personal preference if you want a 1 or a 2 paddle. When you have a 2 paddle one, you can squeeze them. So like if I want to send a da-da, 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 I can squeeze it like that and it'll go da-da, da-da, da-da. So and it'll combine the dits and das. And then if I squeeze it with this side first and then this one, that'll go da-dit, 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 like that.
Got it.
And this little radio I took to a summit in North Carolina maybe 2 years ago, and I connected it to an antenna basically the same antenna right here, which is like a 4-foot whip. Like that's it. That's the whole antenna right there, and it attaches to the side of the radio. And I worked Java Island, Indonesia with it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, off of 5 watts of power.
Oh my goodness.
Isn't that crazy?
So just checking my understanding.
Yeah.
This is sending out waves that have a wavelength of like 20 meters right now. Mm-hmm. 20 meters goes farther than 40 meters.
Depending on the time of day and propagation, yeah.
Okay. So then at the right time of day, with what you're doing right now, the waves that you're sending out could bounce off the ionosphere. Yeah. And land. Yeah. I don't know if that's the right term. Yeah. Land in like Indonesia or land in any region of the world.
Yeah, so it's Indonesia was pretty exceptional that day. Conditions were really good for it. Yeah. But I very routinely work people all over North America, into Canada, and people into Europe. Yeah. It's not at all uncommon, and sometimes South America and Central America.
Now, when you say work, you're saying that you're just communicating.
I log them. I communicate with them and make an exchange, and we both exchange the information. In most of these contacts, the message that you're sending, these are more like high fives as opposed to like communicating for a long time. Sure. People may sneak in a little something saying, what you're hearing in the background by there is a digital mode, by the way. Digital what? It's a digital mode. It's one where a computer is doing the communicating using the same mechanism, but it's not a human. It's a human behind a computer, and the computer is sending the signal that way so another computer can interpret it. Huh. So sort of like internet without wires. Okay. In a way. Yeah. But where was I? Just depending on the time of day and your equipment and the type of antenna you're using, that has something to do with it too. If you've got an antenna that's set up for long distance communication or for short distance or whatever, a lot of it depends. Like for me, doing Parks on the Air, it doesn't matter that I'm not trying to go for distance stations per se. What I'm trying to go for is just to get 10 contacts, which actually I've already done, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, so this is an activated park for me right now, but I continue going a little bit longer, just kind of fun.
What does it mean to be activated?
In this program, it just means that you did enough to say that, like, okay, I can check this one off as a park that I activated today. And then tomorrow it starts over, right? Got it. So I could come back tomorrow and do the same, make at least 10 contacts, and it's activated. For the people that work me, they're called hunters. They just hunt the station, so they get like a kind of a check mark every time they like work me. Got it. And it's a little bit like gamifying it a bit, just to kind of make it fun.
Is this like on a website or on a...
Yeah, it's a website called pota.app, like pota.app.
POTA.app.
Yeah, and it's called Parks on the Air. Actually, what I'll do is give you, I should have a card in here somewhere. Let me look in my bag and see if I do.
So they're trying to they just want to check off where you are.
Yeah, it's just like a little it's a fun excuse to get on the radio and make contacts.
Yeah.
And then they have like leaderboards and things like that, so you can look and see like who's done the most parks this year, who's worked the most people. This is my website, qrpeer.com. So like eventually, like probably in 3 weeks, I'll have this video out. And if you don't mind, I'll keep this commentary in there because people, I don't have your face on here or anything like that. Really people often have an opportunity to talk to others about amateur radio in the field, and sometimes they don't know what to say because it's when you're doing it, you kind of know your stuff, and it's like it's a little bit of a niche thing, and so sometimes it's hard to explain like why you're doing what you're doing, right? Because it sounds a little weird. But people who are a bit nerdy and they kind of enjoy stuff like this, and off-grid communicating and that sort of thing, it's just a lot of fun. And for me, I get a huge thrill out of doing this. Like when I'm here visiting, I dropped my daughter off at State this morning. She's got some stuff to do. We're just here visiting, like I said, for the weekend sort of thing. And I thought, I'm going to hop out to a park. It's like 20 minutes away from State. Just come out here, do a quick activation, then head back to Raleigh, you know, afterwards. Wow. And it's like doing high fives with all these people. Like I said, WD8RIF, Eric, he is in Athens, Ohio. And I was just out of my undergraduate school. I just graduated, and my wife was doing her MFA in film at OU. And I worked in a Radio Shack, if you remember those. That was like the only job I could find in town. And this guy, Eric, came in, and, or not Eric, I should say, my buddy Mike came in, a different call sign. He's K8RAT is his call sign. And he came in looking for some parts, and I started talking to him, and I said, what are you doing this for? And he was for an amateur radio purpose. And I said, oh, I'm studying for my amateur radio license right now. And he said, well, you've got to come out. And it was in February of 1997. And he said, you've got to come out to the fairgrounds. We're doing a program there called Freeze Your Butt Off. And it's an activity like this, except the idea is the colder it is, the more points you get per contact. It's just like a fun thing and it's to practice taking your radio to the field and setting it up, really. And I went out there, and Mike met me, and then he introduced me to Eric, who was sitting down at a radio doing CW or Morse code. And that was the first time I ever saw a radio or heard Morse code like that. And it hooked me right from then. And Eric and Mike both became lifelong friends.
So Eric is just out. Or what's he doing?
He's either at a park or he's at home, and he's just like, he noticed that I was on the air, and so he just gave a shout out.
Did he notice from like?
No, he just probably he could have me. There is a program called Ham Alerts that people put on their phone, and there's a system that listens to all of the code that's out there, and it finds who's on the air, and then you can go say, well, like every time Thomas is on the air, I want it to notify me and just send me a push notification.
So he just jumped on maybe.
And so he's like, oh, and he was really like, he was way down in the weeds. He was kind of quiet, you know, and it's because Eric is like me. We're called QRPers, meaning that we never operate more than like 5 watts of power. In amateur radio, you can do over 1,000 watts of power if you want to, but there's no need to do that. And I'm kind of a less is more guy, so like I can get away with a battery this size. This would last me for probably, with this radio going, maybe 3 or 4 hours of continuous use. And you know, like I just like smaller equipment, more portable stuff, because like the backpack things in sometimes. This is more like a car thing here because I'm so close to the car. But I have radios that are like that big, and that put out 3 watts of power, and they're powered by a little 9-volt battery, just like you buy for your like fire detector or smoke detector. And I've had all kinds of adventures with that radio too. And
so the 1,000 watts, what does that do?
Well, it increases the more power. It's just like with a radio station, the more power you're putting out, the easier you are to be heard.
Got it.
Right. But sometimes you don't need it to achieve the goal. So like, to communicate with somebody in New Jersey this morning, I only needed 5 watts.
Yeah, you were able to go 600 miles away.
Yeah, just with like 5 watts of power.
Wow.
And in fact, I often, just to play around, and because I do this YouTube channel, it's just kind of fun to experiment. I recently used a wire antenna like this, and I put out 1/10 of 1 watt, which is 100 milliwatts of power. and had a wonderful activation. It was not a whole lot different than this.
Yeah.
Using just a tiniest bit of power. It's so small that my radio wasn't even showing me like the power output on it because there's just so little, right? And that's what I love about amateur radio.
Yeah. So then when you said amateur radio license, you have to be licensed in order to use this over the air?
Yes, you do. So
otherwise it's just be doing anything.
That's correct. Well, and there's a certain level of technical expertise you need to have, and it's not really expertise. You just need to have some knowledge, right? So in the world of amateur radio, like this stuff it's not complicated, but you need to know what's happening because you don't want to do the wrong thing with it, and you're sharing this space sometimes with other people. The RF bandwidth or the spectrum that you're on. So you got to know how to use it. And the FCC has a requirement, and pretty much all of the amateur radio bodies across the world, because there are amateur radio associations across the world in almost every country. Wow. All of those associations and commissions and things all require some level that you're showing that you know how to operate the radio before you hop on the air. Yeah. So in the United States, we have 3 levels of licenses. Your first one's a technician license. It's a 35 question multiple choice test, right? It is not that hard. It's mostly procedural stuff, like what you do as an amateur radio operator. Like, for example, you learn that you can't do business on this. You can't use this ever for business purposes. I can't talk about, I can't walk through to tell someone how to go buy something on the radio. This is all non-business, non-commercial use. You really want to refrain from religion and politics and things like that on the air as just a good practice. It tells you where your frequency allotments are and how to stay safely in those frequency allotments so you're not accidentally going outside your band plan, right? When you get the technician license, which is not hard to do, you can start operating on VHF, UHF frequencies, which means you can use like walkie-talkie type radios, and like there are just bazillions of repeaters in this area, and you could talk to other amateur radio operators in the area, and sometimes using digital systems around the world too, through just a handy talkie, a walkie-talkie type radio. Yeah. Those are really handy. Like I went through Hurricane Helene last year, and that's what we relied on. That's how we did all of our emergency communications was on VHF, which was just using a regular walkie-talkie type radio that but ours are special. They operate on special frequencies. We have special repeaters we use, and getting your license, you have to learn how to use those repeaters in that. They basically show you the etiquette of using that stuff. The next level license is the general class license, and it opens up the door to things like this, the HF bands. It's basically a lot of the same that was in the first test with a little extra. Again, it's not, I can't remember how many questions are on it. It's been so long since I've taken it, but it's not that difficult. Just a little study and you can do it. You're definitely smart enough to like plow through these tests. But that opens up the door to all HF frequencies. I should say all of the HF bands, but your frequencies are a little limited, not a lot limited, just a little limited. The highest class is extra class. It is, if you're really studying it, like, do you have a background in engineering or anything?
No, I just am super curious.
Yeah, okay. So if you had an engineering background, you'd be like, this test's not that hard. Yeah. But it's a lot of math and stuff. Sure. I'll be honest, that was the one test I did where I just studied the test. Yeah. Because the question pool, along with the answers, they're in the public domain. So you know what all the questions and answers are in advance. Any possible question, any possible answer. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I kind of just studied the test because I wanted to get it done, and I gave myself a 2-week period of time or something to just get all into it, right? Sure. The other 2 tests, you really want to learn them because it's actually really good material. Sure. And you'll see the world differently when you go through those tests because all of our wireless world, you kind of understand it then. You're like, oh, that's how things work, right? So it's like and the biggest thing is, though, the amateur radio community is a very cohesive, open, and kind of, it's an amazing community of people. Like, it's the reason why I stay an amateur radio operator, the people that are in it. All of these people, I just kind of gave like the equivalent of a high five, you know? Like, I've met some of these people in person. Some of these are like some of my very best friends in the world. Others, I just know them from doing this sort of thing. Oh, I said 12, but I got more contacts back here. Yeah. So 12, 15, 16, 17, 18 contacts.
I was going to say, I was pretty sure you hit 10 a while ago.
Yeah, I did.
So what you did in this was to activate. The purpose of activation was just to have said, I went to this park and I communicated with 10 people.
Right.
And then what you did was you broadcast that you are who you are. Mm-hmm. And are you saying where you are?
They know just based on the spotting information that's on that POTA website.
Got it.
So the moment I hop on the air and I start sending, it uses this thing called the reverse beacon network that I was telling you about that recognizes call signs. Yeah. And it's like, oh, Thomas is on the air, and it spots him. He's on this frequency.
And how does it know where you are?
I basically announce in advance.
Yeah.
When you hear me on the air, I'm at William B. Umstead State Park.
Got it.
And so then it marries those two pieces of information together and it makes a spot. And then people see it and they're like, oh, Thomas is on 14.062 kilohertz. And so and what mode I'm on. So I'm doing Morse code. A lot of people use voice, and that's single sideband. And so this radio is only Morse code, but this radio can do single sideband as well. And so single sideband, you're just using voice. And so I would be saying CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4 Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for parks on the air. And that instead of sending everything in Morse code. I just prefer Morse code, but I love voice too, sure, because you hear the other person on the other end, yeah, and you'll make very similar contacts.
So it's about, so what you were doing when you would receive, I remember I saw you writing down.
Yeah.
And then were you like confirming that you got it right, that you
yes,
that you wrote down? So you were sending it back to them, and
yes,
then they would say yes or no, that was it.
Yes.
And so once they're seen, mm-hmm, quote unquote, once they're seen, then they're saying that they saw you.
Yeah.
They feel like I guess the ultimate goal is just to
complete that contact.
Yeah. To say we know who each other, yep, are, we know where each other are.
Yeah.
Like you're not alone, kind of thing. Like you're communicating.
That's right.
Wow.
That's right. And so what I do with all of this when I go back is I enter it into a log. And yeah, so it registers that log and it confirms the contact with them. Some people do it on their phone. There's logging systems on the phone. I just prefer using paper when I'm in the field.
Sure.
Especially since I'm doing a video and talking or doing something. Yeah. And so like that's the fun part for me, doing it. And what I'll do right now is I'll probably hop on 20 meters for like maybe another 15 minutes. And then I'll call QRT, which means like, okay, I gotta go. And if there's a lot of people on there, I hate doing it because they're still calling. But
they want the high five.
Yeah, they do.
Want to be recognized.
And it's just kind of fun, you know. Yeah. Yeah, and so I always want to work as many people as I can, but some days you just only have so much time, or you've got other things you're doing, you know. So you have to make it shorter, to do it. But
and is Parks on the Air your like thing that you do, or it's like a larger thing?
It's a much larger community. So it's a global community.
Can anyone like go to a park and do what you're doing?
Yeah. Okay. If they're an amateur radio operator and you just register with, you have to have a registered username with them. That's it.
Got it.
There's no, and really and it's kind of fun because like when I travel with my wife, we explore way more parks than we did before. And we're kind of park people. Like one of the reasons I love this program is I've always loved state and national parks, but I explore way more because it gives me an excuse to go out and check out something like a new state historic site. Those count. Sometimes game lands you can go to as well. You can go to natural wildlife areas. State historic sites. One of them that I'm going to do possibly later today is the state capitol. It's one.
Oh, okay.
It's a little trickier because it's like right in the middle of Raleigh, right? But I've got a handheld radio with a telescoping whip antenna that I can just sit there on the park bench and use.
Wow.
And it's in the car right now, but like I didn't bring it over here, but it's like super portable. I can stand up and operate it.
Huh. And so you'll just go.
Yeah.
You'll set up, and then your initial. So did you? So when you say your like initial call, your initial like telling everyone what's going on, is that something you do like on the website and then you start, or do you just start and then it picks up what you've said through the?
You can do either way. I tend to do it the second way.
Yeah.
I tend to I announce it up front and then I rely on that system to spot me.
Yeah.
So I don't have to go on my phone and like look it up. But like actually on my phone, if you look, let me take some photos here while I'm thinking about it, because I do post on my website. On QRPeer.com, and I tell about the activation. I'll probably say I met you and we talked about this stuff, and in that like usually when I describe how I'm doing my activation, I'll usually just say I started calling CQ and then Hunter started coming in, you know, and then I worked so many stations in so much time, and then I moved to this band and I did that. But a lot of people watch the videos because they just want to practice Morse code, and this is a good way to do it in like a real life situation, not a computer sending it to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
But so that was my other question, is like, were you typing out words?
Yes. Letters that turn into words, but in my head I hear the words really when people are sending it.
Yeah.
But it is letters.
So you were sending out the letters that made up words to say like I noticed multiple codes where you're like RR Roger Roger.
Yes.
Right? So you don't type out ROGER ROGER. No. But then there's also like, it was like 5 dots was error, or like was it
so
right?
So 5 dots in a string, like in a perfect string, is the number 5 actually.
Oh, okay.
5 dashes in a perfect string is the number 0.
Got it.
When I do ... and I don't do it in like and I'm doing it with my thumb and I'm not doing it like in a perfect string, that usually just means, oh, hang on, made a mistake.
My bad. And then
my bad.
Start over,
exactly.
Start over. Okay. And then when you did 2 dots at the end,
that is the equivalent of ... and someone goes ... But then to shorten it, you just go ... and they go ... and then you move on.
And they start.
Yes, and then that tells the other people like, okay, put your call sign in there, and so they start calling me.
Yeah.
And the pileup you hear is just a lot of people calling at the same time. Like there were probably 20 people calling me at the same time. Huh. And so you have to, like, your ear has to kind of get around like, okay, what am I hearing in there? Sometimes I hear a whole call sign. Sometimes I hear 2 call signs. Sometimes I hear 1 letter.
Yeah.
It just all depends.
So then how do you get them? Well, you can show me this first and then...
Yeah, so this is the app. This is poda.app. It's not an app, it's just a website. Yeah. But it shows me like, this person's at, what's it called? Garson Point State Conservation Area in Florida. They're on 21,315 kilohertz. Yeah. This person spotted them, EC7, so that's probably somebody in Europe that actually spotted them. This is someone in the Netherlands that's doing a park activation right now. I may not be able to hear them because they're on the 30-meter band, which is not going to propagate here. Okay. Just like the 40-meter band I was using would not propagate there right now.
But at night, maybe.
At night it could. Huh. And so like these are all the people that are just on right now, and there are a ton of them, right? Just a ton, because this is a global thing.
So people scroll through this, they're trying to find that person. Yeah. They're listening for you saying where you're at again, or they're listening for...
Yes, and it may be that like they have, what they're trying to do is work as many parks as possible.
Yeah.
So they're looking for new parks they have never made contact with, and they're going to try everything they can to work me if they've never gotten William B. Umstead before.
They've never, like, if you've never confirmed that you heard them.
So. Or someone else that's come to this park and activated it, which have been a bunch, because of course this is in a metro area, so there's a lot of amateur radio operators here. I'm a little surprised. I almost kind of figured that I might even see another amateur radio operator out here today because it's a weekend.
Yeah.
But
well, do you think they could be in other parts of the park?
Oh, very much so.
So then, could you how?
You probably could hear them because it would probably be on what's called ground wave. Like it's so close that I would still hear them, and it would be super loud. Okay. If I did. Sometimes parks are really large, and like the Blue Ridge Parkway is massive, right? Yeah. And so I could work multiple people along the parkway on different frequencies because it's so spread out. But but like right now, when I hop to the 20-meter band, I'll probably let's see. I'll do a little bit of 20-meter stuff here, and I'll only be able to do like maybe 10 minutes. So I have to find a clear frequency first.
Like that no one's on?
Yeah. And so I ask a question. I ask, is anyone on here? And there's a code for that, QRL question mark. Yeah. Let's see, is anybody on here? I'm hearing somebody there, and it sounds like they're on frequency. They're just super, super weak.
So you're trying to find an empty one.
So these are other park activators, probably. No, that's not. Let's see if there's anybody here. Yeah, that's another person calling CQ. CQ means like da 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 is CQ, and that just means, hey, I'm putting a call out there. When I do this, I say CQ PODA, which is Parks on the Air. And that lets people know I'm calling specifically Parks on the Air hunters. If I was just doing a general CQ call, it's saying anybody, anywhere, contact me back. And that usually is opening the door for like conversation, and which they call a rag chew, which just means you're talking for a long time. But I don't do that in this, because in this program, it's all about making really quick contacts for
So if you did just want to like practice your Morse code, you could just CQ on a band that no one's on.
100%.
And then it would ping that website that would say that this person is on this thing, or maybe not POTA specifically, but like someone could just respond, and then you could just practice talking.
Yeah, and it wouldn't even, in that case, it's almost like a random contact, so it doesn't even matter that you have a spot anywhere.
Okay.
Like someone just comes across you when they're just tuning across the band.
So the spot is because you say CQ POTA.
Exactly.
So CQ POTA, and then you say your call sign, then it picks it up and puts it in here as like last spotted.
That's exactly right.
Wow. And you can make a computer program take that in because it's dots and dashes. It's not like trying to interpret. It's not like a language model or anything.
It's exactly right.
It's just dots and dashes.
That's right.
It can interpret.
It's a digital note, actually.
Whoa.
If you think about it.
Yeah.
It's on and off. You know, so.
Yeah, it is. It's ones and zeros.
Yeah. Because you can say that one's a dit and one's a dash. So this is 14055.5. Now I'm going to see if there's anybody on frequency. QRL question mark. And I'll do it again. Everybody else I'm hearing is kind of off frequency. They're a little higher or lower. Now what I'll do is send a CQ. Now what I can do is actually do it automatically because I've got it pre-programmed in here if I want to. So now it's doing it. So it's saying CQ POTA DE K4SWL. My call sign is K4SWL. And we'll see how many times it takes it for the reverse beacon network to pick it up and spot me. This is the second one. It takes it like probably 3 or 4 times usually to do it. Because it has to spot it, their page has to refresh, and they have to see me on there.
Yeah. And then you'll just start hearing people.
Yeah, they'll start calling out. I actually kind of like it sometimes when it's not bazillions of people.
Yeah.
I left one dit out. The second, it hits because then you'll hear a whole bunch of people calling you. Otherwise, people would just have to happen upon you on the bands. And da 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 means back to you.
Da 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 da.
Illinois. TU. And I work this fellow all the time. He's in Iowa, I'm pretty sure. We'll find out if he says da-da-da-da.
Huh.
Yeah,
Whoa.
That's Iowa.
That's crazy.
Oh, 6 DT. Oh, NT. AC6NT. Let's see. And they're in Tennessee, and I hear them sometimes. little faster because I'm going to try to work as many people as I can.
Yeah.
Michigan. New York. I think I heard W. I wasn't quite sure if I got that right. Massachusetts. Okay, I heard a VA, which means somebody in Canada.
And you just learned all these over time? VA starts?
Yeah.
Okay. Huh.
Oh, VA3 EKR, this is my friend Scott, and he's actually coming to visit me next week.
Oh, cool.
Here we go. Good morning, Scott. Oh, he's stronger now. Hear that fading? That's because the ionosphere's changing.
Oh.
He's in Ontario. I actually spent a lot of time in Canada, and I actually got a Canadian call sign too. Okay, TA. Indiana. You start to hear the pattern in it, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Vermont. That's VT. Oh wait, K. Is it KG? I don't think I got the call sign right. Oh, I did. KG4VU, and I think they're in Georgia, which is a little weird for 20 meters. I may have missed the state. B, he corrected, KB4VU.
How did he correct it? He just said it again? So you were like, okay.
See, I accidentally sent good afternoon, GA. And I was like, no, GM, good morning. This is another person in Ontario, probably. VA3OPA. Yep, Ontario. I go a little faster if they're going faster. If they're going slower, you match their speed. Alabama. This person will probably be in Ohio or Michigan. But I can tell by the number that's in their call sign, but that doesn't always correspond.
And do you choose your call sign, or do you get one?
You can. They assign you one randomly, but you can change it if you want to.
Okay.
I'm going to call QRT. Yay! It always makes me so happy when someone hears that. It's not always a given.
Yeah.
Okay, so first of all, some people are like, oh, I'm frustrated he's going off the air now. I was trying to make contact, with that park or whatever. But everybody has to stop at some point, right?
Yeah.
And then, but it's just it's just a fun thing to add to the activation. So now what I do, so don't forget to do this, is I take a few more photos. I try to take a photo too of so I can remember what my antenna was that day and how I deployed it.
Looks like you threw it.
Yeah, I'll show you how I did it. Actually, I'll put up my stuff here. So anyway, I got to take a picture of my logs.
Yeah, go ahead.
And I do that just so I have a backup copy of it in case something happens. And I feature this in my blog post I make too, so that people can actually go back, and if they can't read this while I'm doing the video, they can go back to my blog post and they can see it, so that people don't always want to know what the call sign is when it's coming out because they want to practice it themselves, but they want to check their work. And so then they do this and read my sloppy handwriting. Let's see here. But I consider it like my YouTube channel is less of like a YouTube channel. It's really just more like a repository for these videos. Yeah. But it's to me, it's like a lot of fun. And so like the radio itself, like you can see how lightweight it is. Like it's not a heavy radio. And that one has a battery pack in it too.
Yeah, I saw that on the top internal battery.
And that radio is circa 2001 or something. Right, so it's got a little age on it. But it's a wonderful radio. And this company, Elecraft, they make their radios in California, actually. So they're actually U.S.-made radios. There are a lot of Japanese companies like ICOM and Yaesu, and there are a bunch of companies out there. The amateur radio world's a pretty big world, and every year, and especially in larger countries, there are some big gatherings of amateur radio operators. Our big one here in the United States, there's several big ones, but our biggest one is in Dayton, Ohio, the third weekend of May, and it's called the Hamvention. And it brings like 32,000, 33,000 people.
Oh my gosh.
It's huge.
And what do they do there?
You see all these people that you're on the air with all the time, right?
Okay, because they're everywhere.
You network, yeah. And there are like a bazillion ham radio YouTube channels you've never seen because that's not been in your like algorithm, right? Like if you start to look those up, they'll start to pop up.
Yeah.
But it's a really big community that like a lot of people don't know about, and but it's really cool because like a lot of the motivation for doing this is like in times of emergency, like natural disasters and things like that, you know how to take radio equipment out in the field. And I don't have to worry like during Hurricane Helene, I was in touch with emergency responders and stuff that like other people couldn't get a hold of. So for my community, I ended up being a like kind of an information source, and I relayed messages and did stuff. I can communicate with, and this is before the internet like had became so popular. You know, you could use amateur radio to contact friends in other countries, and if you follow how propagation works and you have a specific antenna for it, you can pretty much guarantee that you're going to aim your signal like say toward Europe or toward the West Coast or something like that. Like the West Coast has not quite woken up yet this morning for propagation because the sun hasn't really energized the ionosphere where it needs to be for them to hear us easily.
That's
right?
How did we figure this out? How did humans figure out that
That's a good question.
That there's something in the atmosphere?
That's a good question.
Right now, you're talking, when you say ionosphere, just so I understand.
Yeah.
Earth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Outside, right? There's like the troposphere, the exosphere, all those spheres, right?
Yes.
Where the ionosphere is within one of those, or
yeah, the ionosphere, I think. This is where I don't know my layers that well.
Yeah, okay.
But like, I think the ionosphere. Well, there's like the E and the F1 and the F2 layers that we use in amateur radio, and they're. I'm trying to think of how high they are, and I can't remember now because it's been so long since I've taken my test. But when you take your test, like you'll have all that down. Yeah. Like you've got all the test will not be hard for you. Like especially the first one, and really the kind of fun thing to do is just go on and like immediately get your general class license after that. Yeah. And there are really good amateur radio clubs around here too. Like in Raleigh. Where do you live in? Like Raleigh or Durham?
Yeah, Raleigh area.
Yeah. So there's a really good one in Raleigh. They have a really nice ham fest every year, which is like a flea market for amateur radios called Rares Fest, the Raleigh Amateur Radio Society Fest. And so I would highly encourage you to go to their club meetings because there are people there that do everything.
What if I borrow your pencil?
Not at all.
Write that down.
Not at all. And I'm happy to, like, you can reach out to me on email and I'll connect you up with people too. I know a fair amount of people in this area. But the important thing is just to kind of get out there and hop on the air and practice it. And it's a lot of fun to, it's fun.
Yeah, it just seems like
the fact that you came over here it means it's something you would enjoy doing.
Well, I just love language. That's where my fascination with Morse code started. It's like as I understand it, there's Morse code it started with sign language, where I was like, there's sign language, but that's American Sign Language versus like English Sign Language versus Chinese Sign Language, and then like Morse code, it's an American thing, right? It started for the American military.
So it actually predates that.
Oh, okay.
But it's really started with ship-to-shore stuff. So like in the earliest days of wireless, what they were doing is communicating with ships at sea, and they would have like equipment on the ship, of course, so they could transmit back because ships are big and they could put a wire antenna up on it. Yeah. And it was great, like it was revolutionary because before they really couldn't do that. And Morse code then has had different iterations. Like I was trying to remember. I'm on a podcast called the Ham Radio Workbench Podcast, and we just interviewed someone about KPH, which is one of the oldest like West Coast ship-to-shore companies. And we were just talking about some of the origins of some of these things, like and how CW or Morse code has changed over time. But eventually the standard American Morse code really kind of became, the one that we use, and it is pretty much used internationally. There's an international Morse code that we now use, and we've all pretty much adopted that, so that the numbers are the same, the letters are the same. The Q codes are all very similar too, and have been used forever. For a long, long time. And
Q codes like GM and GA.
So those are not Q. The Q codes usually start with a Q. So they'll be like QRM, which means noise.
Q the letter, not QUE. Q letter, not like
correct.
Q like something, or CUE was what I was thinking. But
yes, exactly. You're right.
Like
Q the letter.
QP,
QRP. See, QRP. If I sent QRP to somebody, it's actually not commonly used for this, but what it's always meant is you can lower your power. Like you can lower your power, or I'm lowering my power. and I would say send QRP.
Oh, so that's why that's why you're QRP, because you're not about the high powered.
That's exactly right.
Oh my gosh.
And so high power is QRO. So like if you're talking to if you're chatting with someone, either voice or digital modes or Morse code, and you want them to up their power because you can't hear them very well, then you would ask them to QRO, which means like, oh, can you raise your power a little bit if you can?
So QRP and QRO mean something because we've given them meaning. It's not like it's an abbreviation for something. So you don't have to speak English to understand QRP means lower your power. It's just like, you know that this string of characters means to do some sort of action.
Yes.
Wow.
Now, by the way, I've tried carefully not to put you in this video unless you wanted to be in it, right? So I'm going to point the camera over this way because I'm always conscious of that with other people. I don't want to like put them in a video they don't want to be in it. But now so you're exactly right. And the thing about amateur radio is like an extremely international thing, right? Yeah. I'll never forget that when I first learned about amateur radio, I grew up in Hickory, North Carolina, and we had a guy come by. I can't even believe they did this, but back in the day, they would actually come to your house to fix your TV, right? So I'm like 53, and I remember this guy from Curtis Mathis came by, and I was like holding the flashlight, and it's sort of like you're doing, like you're asking all these questions, and he just looked at me. I was like, "What's that do? What does that do in the TV?" And he was like, "Have you ever heard of amateur radio?" Like, because like you seem like a dead ringer for this. And I used to have a shortwave radio in my bedroom, and again, this is way before the internet was a thing. And I would listen to stations from all over the world, like broadcast stations, radio broadcast stations, like the BBC and Radio Netherlands and Radio Moscow, and just tons and tons of Radio Japan or NHK and all these different stations. And he said, "Oh, you've got to check out amateur radio." And one of the things he told me, and he did the same thing, he's like, "You just need to take a test. Here's how you get the material. Here's how you do this." And then I went off to college and was busy. I lived in France for a year, and I kind of put everything off for a while. And it was after I graduated that I took the time to take the tests. Had I known what I know now, I would have gone ahead and taken the tests because they really weren't that crazy hard. And in fact, you sound like it was language that brought me into this too. So I understand that part. I love the international aspect of it. And he told me in the early days, and it has completely come true, that when you become an amateur radio operator, you become like a local in any country you go to, because if you reach out to the amateur radio community, they just take you in like that. It's like you're, for lack of better words, it's an international fraternity of people, men and women and young people. Both of my daughters that are freshmen in colleges right now, they both have their amateur radio licenses, and my wife does. My wife, I tricked her into doing it, but because she's kind of an artist and she doesn't care as much for it, but like for me, that was important. Okay, so then what I do, I'm gonna take down this antenna real quick, and so I'm gonna go out here. I use an arborist throw line to get this up in the tree, right? Let me move the camera over here so people can see me do this. Not that this is super exciting, but they can skip over it in the video if they want to.
So I just threw out here.
Take the weight off of that and put this up now. And what I'm gonna do is grab this, and then, so this is like a commercially available antenna. You can build your own. Amateur radio has a whole, what you call it, like culture of building your own stuff. Making your own things, and you can do that. Like this antenna, this is great, and it's made by a really cool company, but let's see, I'm gonna have to redo that because this thing here this is called a trap. This thing right here, and it basically electrically shortens your antenna by having a coil in it. And see, I'm not an engineer. And a lot of amateur radio operators are engineers, and they got into it for the technical aspects of the hobby. That's not what I got into it for. I got into it for the communication and the community. And but you can build your own things. Wire antennas are very inexpensive. Radios are very inexpensive. Like, this is like the best time to become an amateur radio operator, because it used to be, when I started, again in 97, I think my first radio I bought used was like $700 or $800. Wow. Used. And now, and that's in like 1997 dollars, right? Now I can buy a radio that works really effectively for anywhere from like $200 to maybe $500 for a really nice one. And there are other more expensive ones, like this radio I showed you right here in the pack, the KX2. That one's, these days, it's almost a $2,000 radio. Whoa. Like, it's expensive. But unlike you think about how much you spend for like a good iPhone or something, right? And these last for a long time, and they maintain their value. So like when you go to sell them to another amateur radio operator, if you want to change out and get something different, usually get back like, 80% of what you paid for it. They hold their value. Some of them gain value because they're maybe a little more rare.
As long as you didn't like drop it in a lake or something.
Yeah. As long as you haven't done something. And usually most of these radios can be repaired too. Yeah. Like, they're unlike. They're
a little bit more formidable.
They are.
In that sense, huh? Okay. And so down here, did you ground it? Is that
that's a really good question. So every antenna is seeking a ground, like they want, and because this is an end-fed antenna, which means it has one radiating line, and that's what's putting the signal out. It's wanting to have a counterpoise or a ground, like a other half of the antenna, in a sense, because antennas want to like almost have two halves. That is like a really small counterpoise, and it's just enough to make it work, right? I have the bulk of the antennas I use don't have that little counterpoise wire. They use the coaxial line that I used to hook up to it, the Feedline. They use the shield of that as the counterpoise.
Got it.
And
that's where the engineers get excited. I'm sure.
They do. Yeah. And antenna building is like I know so many amateur radio operators. All they do is build stuff. They make things, they create things, they design things, they build it, and they hardly ever get on the air because that's the part they like, right? And then there are people like me that like operating, and I like building too, but I do way more operating, more going out in the field and doing things, because that's what excites me about amateur radio. So I'm gonna go put up this throw line. This will take a second. To me, part of the fun of doing these is putting this line in the tree.
Yeah. Oh yeah, getting to throw it up there.
Oh, it's just, you don't know what's going to happen all the time. It took me 3 tries this time to get the branch I wanted. Now what I'm going to do is like finish off my video here real quick and turn it off, and we can walk back over to the car. I can show you the other radio that I use sometimes, and then for Holly.
Yeah, I gotta head to that.
Everybody, thank you so much for joining me today. Thanks to all my Patreon and Coffee Fund supporters. I really appreciate it. And thanks to Brandon, who's off camera here, for popping by and saying hello. This has been great to talk to somebody out here. It's one of the reasons we like to come out to the field too, is so people can kind of see what we do. We're not just all closed up in our basements in front of our radios or something. But thank you. And as I always say, be kind out there, because all we got on this planet's each other. And until next time, 7 twos.